What is up, guys? Welcome to Pro Fight Peaks. My name is Valentin, and today we're gonna take a look at the UFC Fight Night Sandhagen vs Dillashaw card, which takes place on July 24th. A lot of pretty interesting fights will be on this card, so let us not wait any longer and start with the preliminary card. The first fight is Diana Belvita vs Hannah Goldie. Diana is currently 13-6 and Hannah is 5-1. This fight is very important for both fighters. Both fighters are coming off a loss, but for Diana this fight might be the last one in the UFC since she's on the 2-fight loss streak. In her previous fight she lost to Liana Jojoa via first round submission, and the fight before that she lost by unanimous decision to Molly McCann. Both of these losses came from pretty good fighters, and I believe Diana will try to pull on submission since her stand-up is not very good and she's pretty desperate in this fight. She has to win it for herself. In the other corner we have Hannah Goldie, who got in for the UFC by winning the contract on a Dana White Contender Series show. She fought only once in the UFC since her winning of a contract, and that fight did not go her way. She lost by unanimous decision to Miranda Granger. Goldie loves to put the pressure on her opponent. She's not a very exciting fighter, however, she is able to go the full distance. The problem is, however, is that the last time she fought was in 2019. Since that time a lot of could happen, and we do not really know how she is going to perform in her next fight. So if you're planning to bet money, I would recommend skipping this fight, because it can go in any direction. Both fighters will be motivated because the stakes are high. It is going to be about Goldie trying not to get into submission, and then she will be able to get a decision victory. I pick Goldie to win by decision. The second fight of the card is Sijara Eubanks, who is 7 wins and 6 losses in her pro MMA career, versus Elise Reed, who is currently 4-0. For Sijara Eubanks, this fight might be the last in the UFC, since she's on the 2-fight losing streak. Both last of her fights she lost by decision. I do not know how motivated she is right now, however, she will try to keep this fight standing and will try to overwhelm her opponent. The problem is, she does not have a KO power, so she's probably not winning by KO or TKO, and she's gonna have to stand and just try to overwhelm her opponent with combinations. Her opponent in this fight is Elise Reed. She's currently undefeated and she's making her UFC debut. We do not really know much about her. UFC does not even have her picture yet, so I had to find something from the internet. She's a stand-up fighter who puts up together good combinations and can finish her opponents with her strikes. This fight is very questionable for pairing purposes. Sijara Eubanks is pretty durable, and we do not know how much she will be able to last against Elise Reed, because we don't really know much about Reed. But based on Sijara's recent fights, I think a newcomer, Elise Reed, will get a win on that night. I pick Reed to win by TKO in the second round or by decision. The next fight is Julia Ars, who is 16-4, versus Andre Ewell, who is 17-7. Julio is a favorite at -200 in this fight. Both fighters are coming off a loss. However, Julio lost his last fight by split decision to Hakeem Dawodu, who is a great fighter, and he's been facing tough opposition and beating them, so it's no shame in losing in split decision to him. Ewell lost his last fight to Chris El Guapo Gutierrez in a pretty dominant fashion. Ewell does not really have a punching power. I think he will try to overwhelm Julio with pressure and eventually will try to submit him. However, I don't think his attempts will be successful against Julio. In this fight I got Julio winning by either KO or decision. It should be a good fight to watch, but I'm not sure how good is it for betting. Moving on to the next fight, we got Adrian Janis, who's 13-3, fighting against Randy Costa, who is 6-1 in his pro MMA career. In this fight, Janis is the favorite, standing at -180. He's currently on 6-fight win streak, with 5 of them by KO and TKO. He's a pretty heavy hitter for the bantamweight division. His opponent is Randy Costa, who is on a 2-fight win streak, both coming by the way of KO in the first round. He has the height and reach advantage over Janis. All of his 6 wins came by way of KO or TKO, so this man also has a lot of power inside of his hands. He has very strong kicks and he knows how to utilize them, and 2 KOs by head kicks shows it well. This fight will be the one to watch for sure. Both guys will try to knock the shit out of each other. This fight will not go the full distance for sure. I pick Janis to win by KO or TKO. Costa is not tested yet. He went past the first round only once, and that one time he actually lost. I think Janis will rely on his experience and stand-up skills in order to avoid getting hurt, and will deliver his punishment to Costa, finishing him with a hook or a nice combination with an uppercut. The next fight is Nasruddin Imavov, who is currently 9 wins, 3 losses, against Ian Haynish, who is currently 14-4. Both men are coming off a loss. In this fight, Imavov is an underdog, standing at plus 125. In his last fight he lost by a majority decision to Phil Haves. He had a couple of good moments in that fight, however, still was not able to get the win. Before that loss, he was on a 6th fight win streak. He has reach and high advantage in this fight, which will be very helpful for him. His opponent is Ian Haynish. This man got into UFC by winning a contract on the Dana White Contender Series show in 2018. Since then he had 6 fights in the UFC. He lost 3 of those fights, but he lost it to the top contenders such as Kelvin Gastelum, Derek Bronson and Omari Akhmedov, who actually got cut by UFC 2 weeks ago. Ian has a lot of potential and bookmakers believe that he will get the W in this fight. However, I do not think he will be able to turn the lights out and KO Imavov, since he doesn't really have a punching power. On the other hand, Imavov is very capable of turning someone's lights out. If he utilizes his reach properly and will be able to piece up Ian and knock him out, then it obviously will be a good night for him, and I think he's very capable of doing so. In this fight, I will go with an underdog and pick Imavov to win. And the last fight of the preliminary card is Soriano versus Allen. This is a very interesting matchup and a great fight. I'm pretty excited about this fight. Both men are very dangerous fighters, so this will be a very close fight and the odds reflect it for sure. Soriano is a slight favorite, being minus 115, and Allen is a slight underdog, being minus 105. Soriano is undefeated. He's currently on the 8th fight win streak. Out of his 8 wins, only 1 was by decision. The other 7 fights finished inside of the first round. However, his opponents were far from the top ones, so it is pretty hard to draw a conclusion from the previous fights. This fight will be a great test for him, and most likely it is going to be Soriano's second fight that will go past the first round. His opponent, Allen, lost only 1 fight in the last 9. He has much more experience and has been in a variety of situations that Soriano doesn't even know exist. Allen is a very dangerous submission specialist. If this man gets a hold of you, it is nearly impossible to escape. Also, he's pretty slick with his transitions on the ground, so it is pretty hard to get a read on what his plan is for the next move. He will truly test Soriano, because Soriano never met anyone like that. That's gonna be his toughest opponent so far. I am personally very excited for this fight. Very hard to predict the result of this fight, since we don't really know about all of the capabilities of Soriano. However, I will go with experience and will say that Allen will be able to avoid getting hurt, and even if he will get hurt, he will find a way to pull a submission win in his fight against Soriano. I choose Allen by submission. Let me know what are your thoughts and picks for this preliminary card in the comment section below. In the next video I will talk about the main card and make my picks. Thank you very much for watching the video. Don't forget to drop a like and subscribe for more weekly videos.